David, Tim, and Ruth are back with us. Ruth, I want to turn the floor over to you. I want to say that what David and Tim are saying is probably going to agitate a lot of our viewers and upset them. But our viewers should know that people inside and outside Biden's innermost circle, people who describe themselves as, quote, loving him, three of them, said the very same thing, had the same analysis. So I invite yours, and I'd love your thoughts about what we do next.
I come at this from a bit of a different perspective. I study professional liars who are very charming. They're amazing performers, and they turn political events into spectacles for authoritarian purposes. Now, if we think about this, quote, debate, a real debate in a democracy is supposed to provide voters with accurate information so they can make a choice. Trump came there for a totally different purpose, an authoritarian purpose, to spew as much propaganda, as many lies as possible, and he got a lot in, so he could indoctrinate people to his fake reality. And so Biden was placed in a very difficult position because there was no live fact-checking. And we know from studying propaganda, you've got to have instant refutation. And so, number one, it's really kind of sad that because Trump lied with such vigor, with such dynamism, he's hailed as the winner. The other thing is, and you can substitute X for Biden if you have a favorite alternate Democrat, that person would have been stuck refuting all of Trump's lies the whole time because of the lack of live fact-checking from moderators, and thus wouldn't have been able to make his or her case to the American public about the agenda. And Trump knows all that. And so in a way, this debate, I'm not glossing over the terrible performance of Biden and lack of energy, but it's 90 minutes, and it's a symptom of how we are a degraded democracy, and we're acting as though our political rituals around this election are proceeding normally. But this, quote, debate shows that one party is using these events for a completely authoritarian purpose.
Ruth, I wish we'd had this conversation 2 hours ago and that the whole 2 hours were framed around this. I think that's everything. But I guess my questions then are, one, it was Biden's idea. It was his proposal. And two, the rules are something he agreed to. Is the problem that we still in year 9 of trying to confront Trump and Trumpism don't have folks like you at the table for every campaign meeting, at the table for every network TV meeting, at the table for every debate planning meeting? Have we still not made the turn to what we're actually staring down the barrel at, which is an authoritarian leader?
To some extent, because, there's lots of capable specialists in disinformation, propaganda. And what we know is that instant, live, real-time refutation of lies is what matters. After the fact, Daniel Dale of CNN did an amazing job fact-checking, but it was in a separate venue. And that's not available also to Fox viewers. So there were mistakes made in planning this event. And there's also perhaps a hubris, and this is what my colleagues on the segment are getting at, of President Biden in insisting on that these rules would be okay. So it's a learning moment, but it's also a moment to wake up and realize what you're dealing with, because, again, substitute anybody, and they would have been occupied refuting Trump's lies, and that was by design. He was there to indoctrinate people. He was not there to educate the public. So with somebody like that, a debate is just a bad idea, and it shouldn't be called a debate. So our whole paradigm has to shift, in my opinion, with somebody like Trump and the GOP, which has become an autocratic party.
I think that's exactly right. And I think, look, as a network, we confronted this when Ronald McDaniel was briefly brought on. But the problem is that decisions are made without this lens. We're not trying to show all sides of the policy divide in America. One party is fundamentally shifting toward, in terms of its numbers, the largest ascendant authoritarian movement on the planet. And we haven't made the pivot to cover it as what it is. I hope this is a conversation we can continue. I appreciate all three of you so much. David Jolly, Tim Miller, and Ruth Ben-Ghiat, thank you so much for spending time with us today. Another break for us. We'll be right back.